Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to All Burgundy and Gold Everything, powered by the Urban Sports Scene and Fox Sports Radio 1340 AM and 96.9 FM. I'm your host, Glenn. Also with me is our Bowie TV reporter, Candy Waller. Candy, what's going on, Candy?
Hey, never a dull moment. Never
Never,
a dull moment.
never a dull moment. Wole and George maybe join us a little bit later. But hey, Commanders fans, is what we've been waiting for. The news has just dropped. It is official. The new defensive coordinator for the Washington Commanders after a brutal 5-12 season. Hey, where we saw the offensive coordinator fired, we saw the defensive coordinator fired. Hey, Adam Peters and Dan Quinn has made a pivot, and they got a local legend, right, to fix this unit. They got Daronte Jones, right? He's not just only a high-level NFL mind. He's a product of the area from Capitol Heights, Maryland. He's a former standout cornerback at Morgan State University. He knows exactly, and in my opinion, I think he knows exactly what to do with this Burgundy and Gold pride, Burgundy and Gold team that we have. He brings a wealth of experience as a defensive coordinator on all levels, high school, college, and professional. He had a packed resume. He worked with the Dolphins. He's worked with the Bengals. He worked with LSU. He worked latestly with Minnesota Vikings and Brian Flores. He is now the new defensive coordinator for the Washington Commanders. And all I can say is before we get into it, Candy, we only can go up because this team finished 32nd ranked defense in the league. Ain't nowhere else to do but go up, right? So let's get into it. Like Daronte Jones being hired, according to Adam Schefter, as the new Washington Commanders defensive coordinator. Your initial thoughts on this?
Listen, my initial thoughts were, okay, based on who was still available and based on who they had interviewed, it's like a decision is going to be made soon. I made a comment on the show Friday night where I told everybody, and I said, and if you tuned in Friday night, you can drop it in the chat, where I said, we'll know something soon. Mm-hmm. We'll know something soon. Because I started to just do the math, and I had to understand, like, a decision needs to be made soon. There's all the college all-star games are happening, and there's just a lot. There's just a lot that, I mean, we talked about it, right? There's a lot that needs to happen on the defensive side of the ball. So anytime not able to hit the ground running, attend these college all-stars, get into the evaluations, all of that, it is a short window of time. And many of the conversations in the evaluation have already started happening when it comes to current players, but you really got to think about these holes and what this defense needs to look like. And so I just say to this is somebody, because he is from here and this is home, he understands how important this team is to this fan base and to this area. That's first and foremost. He gets it. Mm-hmm. I think the other thing is who he has learned from. This is also someone, and this is another conversation that we've been talking about, right? Not the experience from an NFL perspective, right? You don't have the NFL experience of calling plays. I believe he did call plays 1 year with LSU. But when you're talking about somebody who has learned from some of the best from a defensive perspective, you're talking, okay, of course, currently Brian Flores. We're also talking Vance Joseph. We're also talking Mike Zimmer and others as well. Like you said, you can only go up from here. I've already been asked, what does this mean for DQ? And he has two new NFL play callers. He has two new ones, right? And I think to this question, nobody knows what the defense will look like because they haven't called plays in the NFL yet, right? So I think what we can probably decipher from what we know about him is that passing game coordinator, defensive backs, Dan Quinn got his wish on what he wants to see on takeaways. Right. I'm still from in a fundamentals perspective on things regarding tackling and mistackling and aggressiveness and just overall preparedness and being able to switch up that defensive scheme throughout the game on these up and coming evolving NFL offenses, which I think he learned plenty of in the last few seasons with Brian Flores.
And I want to say this: welcome George. Welcome George to the stream. George, how you doing, sir?
Very much. Sorry for my lateness.
No, you're fine, man. It's impromptu. Like I said, we try to be up to the minute. When breaking news happen, we try to break, so our lives kind of stop, right? Yeah, our lives kind of stop where we at. I had to get off another meeting I was on, and watching some other stuff. But again, back to your point here, I think this is, to me, in my opinion, a good hire right now, because again, what was one of the weakest things that this defense struggled with? The secondary. The secondary needed some help this year. Let's be honest. The secondary needed some help. Mikey was playing out of a wrong position. You had the Marshawn Lattimore experiment didn't work, right? You have a true I don't want to call him a rookie now because he's getting ready to be in the second season. Trey Amos, who is a superstar back there, right? You have some young guys who can be molded from a coach who understands the secondary, who understands how to mold a good secondary. Because we saw this year that the defensive line is manageable, right? You can manage with the front that you have, especially if the ghost guys come back. The young guys, Johnny Newton, if dealing what happens with whatever happens with Daron Payne, but all signs look like he's coming back to Washington right now because it's too much of a hit for him to leave Washington. So you have some young guys on the line. That secondary, and not just like this year, but for the last couple of years, that secondary struggled. And I think that's what I like about him, that he is a secondary type coach, right? That he can focus on the secondary, that if the pressure happens up front, it's not going to get broke down. And I said the secondary too. If you look at it, Washington this year was one of the, ranked 32nd in defense. But when it came to the big play downfield, right? When it came to the big bomb downfield, their secondary needed help. And so I'm looking for that. Also, bringing back to the area, you talk about the culture. You talk about somebody who understands what burgundy and gold is all about, who lived in Capitol Heights, Maryland. It was just burgundy and gold, who's from the DMV, Maryland area, went to Morgan State University, understand the culture of that team. It brings excitement back to the area. It brings excitement. And a hometown guy coming home to do great things for a hometown team. It has a great story written all over it. But the most important thing I like about this is, too, for the fact that all this gets out of Dan Quinn's hands and is another defense. It's somebody else that can call plays, and it's somebody who learned, as you mentioned, the names that you mentioned, Mike Zimmer, Brian Flores, who's been somewhere else, who's learned from greatness, who can bring something different in, right? The problem with Joe Witt, it was Joe Witt learned under Dan Quinn, so all he kind of knew was Dan Quinn stuff, right? He brought it in. So now you have a different guy who's bringing a different philosophy, and what this team needed, and what I believe this team needs, is a different philosophy, a different culture, not a yes man, but a man that's going to come in and hold people accountable for their actions and make something different, right? The key is, as Paul said it, right? The key is different. And I think that's where I'm going to, Paul. It's something different. You need something different. You don't need something the same. You need the organization to have different. And right now we see different. We see younger guys. I mean, let's be honest. Daronte Jones is 47. I'm 47, right? He's a young dude, right? A young dude with energy, with excitement. Blah is a young dude, excitement, energy, right? So again, different. He's putting people around him who's younger, who may be smarter, who be more innovative, who can be able to design some things, and who's learned from the best. So again, I think this is a great move from Washington for Daronte Jones to come home to the Washington Commanders and be the new defensive coordinator. Wole, what's up, my brother?
What's up? What's up? We got
Capital
Capitol Heights dude in the building, bro. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, you may as well. You got
to hurry on this mug. We got to hurry in this mug.
HBCU graduate. I think going back to the emphasis on the secondary. If you recall Friday night, we talked about two things. One, I said you all will be hearing soon. I made that very clear.
You did.
I did.
You did.
I did. I said we'll be back together soon. See y'all soon. I literally was like, and see y'all soon. So that's number one, first and foremost. I also spent time, use your clues, on the safety position. Because the secondary, yes, we talked a bit because we talked so much about Mikey in the corners, but that safety position, that role overall, if anybody is going to be a game wrecker on defense, this individual will absolutely be chosen and will blossom to the way they need to be, I believe, under Daronte. I do. And so this is absolutely what's needed, because I want to go and continue to stress the need for just, everything when in this league, everything is new until it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so we've already seen this year, and we saw the Commanders do it. A lot of the success became because it was all new. But not only is it need to be new, it needs to continue to evolve. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things that we're seeing the more, some of the younger innovative creators do, that some of the tried and true names don't do as much or as often. It's the ability to evolve. And a lot of times it's the ability to evolve in game that makes it so unique. Mm-hmm. Right? You can't see it coming. You don't know what's going on, disguising in real time. And Daronte has learned from some of the best notables in his career. And to my understanding, he was impressive in every single interview across the league. Quite impressive. And so I think that it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Like I said, I've already gotten people asking me, well, what does it need? What does it mean now for DQ? Is DQ, if this doesn't go well in year one, is DQ out? Well, I mean, let's put this in perspective. You have two completely new coordinators. It shows you are responding to what's needed to be successful in this environment. Right. Yep. And we'll see. We don't know, but I'm just saying, I think, because I know that'll be a question that comes up. But keep in mind, these are two new on both sides of the ball now. These are two new NFL play callers, and it's time for change. I think they'll deliver. Does that mean they're Super Bowl bound or playoff bound? I don't know, but I think they will deliver, and I think this is something to be excited about, because it's definitely something fresh and new.
George, your thoughts, or Wole, one of you guys, what's your thoughts?
I'll jump in because I haven't I'll say this much, everything's the unknown. So we just got to see how it plays out. But he's first and foremost, I like the hire. I had my preference was Al Harris. Anybody knows I like Al Harris. I like that. I would like that hire, but this hire I can't go against, because again, you're coming from, you coached under Brian Flores last year. So, and that's a guy that I highly respect. So I get the thought process of this guy getting that opportunity to be under one of the best defensive coordinators in football, and getting to learn from that individual. And like Candy said, other individuals, he's been under some highly touted DCs in the past before Flores. So I like it because he was under last year's defense. And I've said this last year's. If you look at Minnesota Vikings defense, the secondary, they didn't have a bunch of who's out there in the secondary, and they still made it work. So for me, it's coming from a system of when you look at him, he's a guy who brings pressure. He's gonna force the issue. If we're gonna look at his body under the dudes he's been under, these defenses tend to bring pressure. So I like it. Now it's all about showing it. You know what I mean? I can like it now. I can hate it in September. I can hate it in October. I can hate it, in November, December. But at this point in time, because if we're looking at how we in life, how you interview or how you look at somebody's resume and say, will this person pan out in this job? He fits the criteria. He's been under good guys, good references. He's a guy that's well respected in the circle, in the coaching circles. People have said that this dude is highly touted. I'm sorry, I gotta stop. I told y'all when I stop for this lady all the time. Hey, Mama Waller, how you doing?
Mama Waller.
Hey, Mama Waller, how you doing? So But yeah, pretty much I like the hire a lot. So
George, your thoughts, initial reaction.
Well, Wole hit one of the first points I was going to hit. You look at this depth chart for the Vikings secondary. You see Harrison Smith, who's getting at the end of his career, is still a great player. Byron Murphy Jr. is a decent player. But most of these guys are who disses and who dats.
Exactly.
And they were second in pass defense this year.
That's right.
And they were a total defense that was in the top 5. So this gentleman's got results. And of course, Ryan Flores is the biggest reason why that is, because he's the guy. But that's what shocks me. And remember, it wasn't like they had a great offense supporting them. That Minnesota offense was trash a lot this year.
Well,
so
with
they
JJ
were
McCarthy.
in bad situations. They were facing short fields. You know it's true, Wole. Don't.
I mean, JJ started. He turned up on certain games. Don't act like JJ no 30 games. JJ didn't score 30 against the Cowboys. He ain't scored like JJ didn't score against.
Don't you start?
JJ put like how much against the Commanders? I know what we doing. George, don't be using your anti-JJ
truth over here.
No,
that's what we're doing.
You're telling half truths though. You're doing half truths. You're not telling total truths. You're doing half truths. But go ahead though. Continue.
I mean, they're facing short fields.
Yeah.
They're facing teams with a lot of talent. They're in that division with Detroit's offense, Chicago's offense. And when it turned up, Green Bay's offense was pretty good.
Yes.
And they produced.
All facts.
That secondary produced. So Daronte Rodgers has got the runs on the board. I mean, I love all the other stuff. The local ties, Morgan State. I love all that. But this is a guy that's produced something. And I think that's the biggest thing. Yes, it's a little worrisome to have 2 first-time play callers as coordinators. Hopefully that's where Dan Quinn can help a little bit, is just sort of, reining them in when they need to rein them in, or helping them however he needs to, or making a few suggestions here or there. I mean, look, I go back to something that Candy has talked about. Remember when she asked about Dan Quinn taking over play calling? She was asking about both sides. Dan Quinn can coach the coaches. And I think that's what you're talking about, Candy, isn't it? That you want to see Dan Quinn coach the coaches as much as he's coaching the players. But I think he's got that opportunity here. So I like it. I mean, I'll be honest, there were bigger names that I wanted. I wanted more experience. But I want somebody from a program that's worked. And Brian Flores has run a program that's worked. And so I'm going to trust that Daronte Rodgers is ready to step into this role. And he certainly has a lot of experience. You go to his Wikipedia, he's been working at it a long. He's been a coach for a long time and got his way up there. This is not a nepotism hire. This is not somebody who's unqualified, but he's got a job because he's a friend of somebody. This is somebody that's ready for this.
Yeah, I think Daronte Jones is definitely good for this. But I say it all comes to this now. Again, I think somebody said in the chat, it is now you have your coaches, right? You have guys that you can kind of mold a little bit. You have guys that you can converse with. Let's be honest, they're around veteran coaches, right? You still have Anthony Lynn in the building. You still have some other seasoned veteran coaches in the building that some of these guys can learn from. Now is on Adam Peters to do his thing in free agency. It's on Adam Peters' job to do his thing in the NFL, in the draft with the limited amount of picks that they have. And it's also now is about getting Daronte Jones, David Blah, getting into the meeting with the players, getting to know them, building relationships, building that culture. Because again, you can have all the X's and O's that you want, right? You can draw all the plays and draw all the schemes. You can have all the lineage that you want. You can coach for this person, coach with that person. But until you build that relationship with the players and the players can play with you, want to know why Minnesota players play so hard and we don't know who half of them are? Because they love Brian Flores. They don't want to let them down. They have built relationships. So these new offensive coordinator, defensive coordinators, what they're doing now, they have to build relationship with players, right? So the players can go and play for them. Build relationship with the secondary. Build relationship with the D-line. Hey, who do we want to – because, again, who do he wants to keep, right? He may want to keep a Daronte. Johnny Newton may transition, right? We know that let's be honest, we know we need linebackers. Bobby Wagner shouldn't be in the middle next year. Let's be honest here. Frankie Louvu it needs some help or may need to be gone from Washington, right? It's something. So, again, because if you look at Minnesota, if you taking that body of work, Minnesota got linebackers. Minnesota linebackers come to play. So if that's where we at. Then there gonna be some tough decisions that Daronte Jones and this new staff and Dan Quinn, they're gonna have to make. There can be some favorites or players that people like may not return to Washington because they're gonna be it has to be different. You can't take the old stuff, right, and make it new. You're gonna have to change some pieces and parts. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of times on Sundays when we talk, there's a lot of people that's on the bus, but they're in the wrong seat. They're on the right bus, but they're in the wrong seat.
I will say this. I want to add this to this discussion though. I will say this though. He needs to have control of whatever on defense. That's how it works. He has control on whatever happens on defense. Period. So he can like whoever that is. You know what I mean? Like for it to work for him, it can't be. Oh, I prefer this. Like a coach prefers this player. That like it's got to be all on him. That's just what it is. Like anybody, when you take over a defense, you take over an offense, your job for you, it's going to be you assess who you assess. And if you like those players in said positions, if you like Louisville at end, you like Louisville. If you like Bobby at middle, you like Bobby at middle. If you want to bench Mikey, you don't think Mikey is whatever, then you bench Mikey, whatever. Or if you think this safety, if Quan is a good safety for you, he has to have total autonomy to do what he wants to do. Because if he doesn't, then this doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? Like he has to have total autonomy, and in terms of how he figures this defense is going to work. You know what I mean? So that's how I look at this situation. As long as he has control to do what he wants to do, obviously, and it's going to be interesting. Just like anything, I know for me, if I'm an individual that I am, like my background is. Like if my background is coaching basketball, right? And we like is my background's coaching basketball. And like say my job is having a basketball team. We hiring a dude that's like supposed to be in charge of coaching basketball, but it's a fresh dude coaching basketball. For like a league, a team league thing, a work league thing. Mm-hmm. And like I'm gonna want to have my say so in it. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm interested to see how Dan Quinn is in this situation. Will he want to have his say so? Because he is like his background is defense. So it's going to be interesting to see how they mesh. Because at the end of the day, that's a thing. That's a real thing. Like that was always my interest in a situation of who he's going to hire. Because now this is a situation where this is two separate different defenses. This ain't the same system. Yeah. So I'm interested to see how he interacts with the new hire.
And I think it's just
go Candy.
I think it's one of those things too where going back to the Vikings roster on defense, we're not talking about huge names.
Yeah, we're not. That's another thing too.
We're not. So that's your first clue.
Yeah.
And to answer the question, no, Daronte Jones has not called plays in the NFL.
No, he's not.
We are dealing with two new coordinators, two NFL, new coordinators. He was the defensive coordinator at LSU in 2021, but he has not done that. You know what I mean? So we're not talking about big, huge names. That's first and foremost to use your clues on where this just may go, right? Okay, building through the draft is something else that they do. They do well in free agency, the Vikings, but they also build through the draft. So have some of the other teams that that he has been a part of as well. So use your cues on that one. But one of the things, and I keep seeing this comment from David Wilkerson, Adam Peters has already addressed that they're going to be looking at edge rushers. He's already addressed that. This goes back to building through the draft. We know edge rush, we know safety, right? We know corner. So we got to definitely remember those things. Also remember where the defense was in year one of this recalibration, where they were in year two of this recalibration.
Both at the bottom.
They were. I'm like, but certain players regret. They went down.
Yeah. They
didn't stay the same. They didn't increase. You saw their productivity and their performance go down. So even with that, if you get the players who didn't perform at the same level in year one of this recalibration, back to performing in the positions that they should be due to scheme, that changes your defense anyway.
Yes, that is
with
true.
Someone that just knows what to do with the resources that you do have. Understanding the resources that you need based on building through the draft. But I want to keep that in mind for everyone, because this wasn't a lot that the Vikings did. You know, because let's be clear, they didn't make the playoffs either. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's because their offense though. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, offense. I mean,
It wasn't like they had the Texans defense over there. Let's be clear.
Yeah, because they had the Texas talent either though too. They didn't have the Texas talent.
It's also a scheming thing in many instances.
Oh, I agree.
It's a talent thing, but it's a scheming thing, because all we got to do is take the data points and use our clues on same coordinator, same players. Why did these certain players take a nosedive in their performance?
But you know, you can take scheme and you can take data points, but again, guys got to play for you, right? And that's the biggest thing.
I think you saw that. We're not seeing it anymore when it came to Joe Witt Jr.
Yeah. We saw guys regress because I don't think they play for him.
Decline because exactly to your point of Joe Witt Jr. So if you put me in the wrong spot,
I ain't playing for you. I ain't playing for you.
Exactly.
Yeah. They didn't believe into it. So now you got there's a new excitement, right? There's a new excitement here in Washington.
That's a good thing too.
Excitement. And people want to say play calling, right? I want you to understand when you're calling a defense, right? Calling defense in LSU, SEC, and calling NFL is really not much that much difference when you call it play.
Because of the talent, you're talking about
because the talent level. Because of people, because of the talent level, right?
Yeah, that's true. The talent level is high.
The talent level is high, right? Look at the year when he was coaching the DC at LSU, and those quarterbacks that he faced, right? The people that he faced. Again, and I'm not when you scheming things or you talking about it has to be again scheming, and all that is also about what level of talent you have. Right now, this is the thing of what he has. They have to figure out. Dan Quinn and him have to sit down and figure out what are we running and what players do we need here to execute what we run, and that's and how who can execute it at a higher level that we at. Because now you got to get all the pieces in the pot, right, so they can be cooking together, and then that's why the OTAs are going to be very important. Mini camp is going to be very important. Training camp is going to be very important. So now you get everybody you need, so you can start evaluating, and those meetings are very important. What knowledge do you have? What injuries do you have? Where can you go? What can you do? What coverage do you like? Are you a press corner? Or you're not a press corner? What are your strengths? Or are you a good nickel player? Those things right there to understand your strengths and your weaknesses as a defensive coordinator. So he's not coming in after the whole press thing. He's gonna have to hit the ground running, and hey, let's have these meetings, let's have these conversations. Who is on a 1-year deal? Who's not on a 1-year deal? Who's coming back? Who we're trying to keep? Who we're trying to get rid of? Let's be honest. They know now who they don't want to sign in March, right? When the new NFL season starts, who we're getting rid of, right? So now who do we want to bring in to help evaluate or to help to elevate this defense on all levels? Because it's a secondary as well as the front line. We got to evaluate. Washington has a lot of holes. Y'all mentioned safety, right? You mentioned edge rusher, right? You got two young linebackers that didn't get much time, McGee and Morano. And so, do you bring a veteran linebacker in? Do you keep what's my man? Vaughn Lewis. Von Miller. Do you keep a Von Miller, right? Do you tell Bobby Wagner, we love you, but go ahead, you got to go? Do we tell Luvu, you know what, we might get a 5th rounder for you, we don't need you? So all this has to be in a play when you coming in as this new defensive coordinator, and it's coming from a young guy, right? It's coming from a young guy. So he's coming in right now with his big 10-gallon hat on and being a young guy, and has to get the respect of the locker room and its players, because some of them are his age or younger.
I think it's like you said something that's really interesting. Like obviously what he's going to suggest or whatnot. I just think that, like, to be honest with you, just like you talking about OTAs, I think like all that's important. Like setting the tone early, like that's very important. Because we got to see, and Candy, you're going to get to see it earlier before any of us, because you're going to be there on site, get to see all of it. Like the energy, we got to see that energy. We got to see all of it. We got to see how that is and how that turns up. Like look, you're gonna lose me with like not you. But I'm talking about an oppressor. He gonna lose me. Like I ain't worried about no press conference. I ain't worried about what you say in the press conference. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's gonna be the word. Like Joe Witt Jr. did a great job in pressers. He did a great job at pressers.
I love talking. I love talking to him.
Yeah,
I love
exactly. Believe me, I know. Like not you. I'm saying in general. Like I feel like you didn't know he could. If you didn't see what happened on the field, you would think he's one of them as a defensive play caller. So I'm interested to see how he runs his how OTAs are run. Like, and when you're there in training camp, I'm really interested to see what is his belief system in training camp and how he wants his defense to produce and play in training camp or practice in training camp. I'm into all of that. Like, that's what I want to know. I want to see, like, is their mentality about what's their mentality about hitting and tackling? Like, I want all of that in camp. Like, that's what I want. Because to me, like, everybody says the same thing. Like, we're flying. We want to fly to the football. Like, everybody says it, but they don't coach it that way. Exactly. Yeah, so I want to see, like, I want people to, like, when we had these shows in August, right? And when we have you on, you know what I'm saying? I want to hear that you say, like, yeah, they're flying to the football for real. Like, they really flying. Like, I want to feel that type of energy. That's when I know there's a real change. Like, I don't want to hear, like, yeah, they outplayed the offense. All right, whatever. Like, I want to hear that, like, oh, they flying the football for real. And then in that first preseason game, I want to see from the first. Then I don't know, and I'll tell you, I don't know for a fact in the first preseason game when I know from the starters to the bench if they're just tackling. Forget getting beat deep or all that other stuff. From the starters to the fourth stringers, when I know they tackling from one to the fourth, then I know then the system, like the environment has really changed. When that happens, then I'm gonna get gassed up and get hyped. But right now, I'm hyped for the change. I'm hyped because I like the treat. I like his resume. I like his resume in terms of who he's been under. But yeah, my real excitement going to be real talk that first preseason game where I'm gonna get an idea of what we have to expect on defense.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. What were two things that you were not good at? Getting takeaways and tackling, period. Yeah. I see you paying attention, ball hawking, true ball hawking, being able to really track the football, being able to be chaotic and disruptive in a clean way without the penalties and tackling, you're going to already know it's better. That's exactly right. And that's why I'm always going to be easy on wait, because you got to get people that can tackle and get the takeaways.
Mm-hmm. But that starts with a Well, let's start with a standard. Let's start with a standard.
Again, we know that something happened. We know something happened between year one of this recalibration and year two of this recalibration. Something happened because one too many players took a nosedive in performance. Period. Yeah. You know what I mean? If they took a nosedive in performance and they didn't miss a game, so we can't blame it on injuries. We can't blame it on nothing. Yeah. Something happened. Right. And then the other thing that happened is that people knew what you were running. They knew what you were doing. So people always, that's on both sides of football, right? People know what you're doing. You already defeated because they be like, they know what we're doing. Yeah. And you're going to keep calling the same thing and they know what we're doing.
Right.
I mean, we did. So it's going to be interesting to see because in using your clues, if you see the tackling, you see the takeaways, you already know things are better in that regard, right? Hey, Mike, and then you just see, get them off on third down. Get them off. Get them off. No silly penalties, right? You already got them off, and here you go getting a silly penalty. More discipline, too, because we've seen examples of where things go great and where they don't, right? But discipline is a key part of that as well. But it's still going to be one of those things where because it's new from a play calling perspective, other offenses aren't going to be prepared for it.
But you know, it's crazy. Everybody's talking about tackling. Tackling is nothing but effort.
Yeah.
Tackling is nothing but effort. And we
in the world, and they just didn't do it. They just couldn't do it. I mean, and these were people that could tackle. Frankie Louvu could tackle in year one. Year two, he was running by everybody. He couldn't even, like, where are you going, Frankie? Where you ran by him? It was It was
Yeah, I think he lost. I think it's a little bit of
hard to
everything.
tackle.
I don't think you tackle like I get like tackling because you've been tackling for like people have been tackling like these football players have been tackling forever, so they should be not able to tackle, right? But I do think there is a like for Frankie, right? I think there's a level of like missing tackles because you're not as confident in your ability as you once were. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, so I do think that if you're not confident that you can't make the play, you know what I'm saying? So you're going to hesitate, therefore you can't make the tackle. You know what I mean? Like you could tell, for instance, Quan Martin is a prime example. Like you could tell the lack of confidence kind of affect him in tackling. Like, you know what I mean? But if you're confident in making a play, because they're dudes to Glenn, like they're like, I think there's two levels of being bad tacklers. To Glenn's point, you're right. Effort. That's one. That's one. And the second one is lack of confidence, right? Because you don't think you can make the play. So if I go into a situation timid, chances are I'm not gonna make the play, right?
No, correct.
So like,
well, and to that point, Wole, he got run over by Jordan Love in week 2, and you wonder if he ever really got over that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like things like that. Like there are like elements of things that can knock you back. But again, you hope that you have that DNA that it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like you bounce back. So what he's gonna like that. This is the most important thing for a coach, and I think like we all go to Glenn. And Glenn, you're a football coach, so you know this. Like we all can go X's and O's, right? Mm-hmm. And that's great. Like X's and O's are great, but also there's a way to instill confidence into the next man. That's a big form of coaching. Like to go ahead and talk somebody up to make them believe that they can run through a wall and do whatever they can do for you. That is a real thing in coaching. Period. Like that is a thing more than like X's and O's are number one. I'm not gonna take that away, but number two is like is to motivate and get those dudes to run through a brick wall for you. You know what I mean? So if you can bring that environment where people would rather, lack of a better term, I know it's extreme, but rather die to disappoint you on that football field, then that's what it is. A lot of great coaches are that way. Look, man, we saw it here. I'm not even using it on defensive side of the ball. I'm using the offensive when Joe Gibbs 2.0 came back here. You see the way that Clinton Portis talked about playing for Joe Gibbs 2.0. He would say, man, I can't disappoint that guy. I would put my whole body on the line. He was doing crack blocks because of Joe Gibbs. He didn't want to, that's why he did what he did for Joe Gibbs. Clinton Portis wasn't a downhill runner. He wasn't that type of dude. If you watch him at Denver, he was a dude that get the zone read and take it to the house. He became a workhorse back. But he would tell you, I did all that for Coach Gibbs. It's like disappointing my grandfather. That's how he felt about Joe Gibbs. Mm-hmm. Like when you have that mentality, when you're that type of coach, when you can influence people to play that type of way, you know what I mean? Offense, defense, head coach, whatever. So that's where I'm looking at for Jones. If you can influence, inspire, get your players to play at that type of level, then yeah, man, people going to run through brick walls for you. They're going to put in that extra effort. They're going to make sure they hit that extra tackle. They're going to make sure they read they're on their P's and Q's. They're going to do all of that. And because you bring that inspiration for them to make the extra play. So yeah, man, I'm really interested to see what kind of, not just the X's and O's, but what kind of spirit he brings to the table. Because I talk about Daryl Tap all the time. Like for me, I run through a wall for that dude. I heard that dude speak. I was like, this dude is crazy. Like he's one of them. But yeah,
you saw. I remember before the Madrid game, and I told you all, I said, if you don't see nothing else today, and if they don't win today, what you will see is effort. Mm-hmm. That you're going to see. And that's what you saw. Because who they will run through a brick wall for is Dan Quinn. Mm-hmm. So if Daronte can match that energy, then that's just double. Yeah. Right? That's just double because you saw it. You saw it from the people that's still on the team, that they were still in there somewhere. You also saw it against Denver. You saw it in Denver against Denver.
They're motivated against Denver.
But they were definitely motivated against Denver. That was Dan Quinn. To your point, this is who you want to play for. Who do you want to play for? But a lot of that, part of that comes from putting people in the best positions for them to succeed. Yeah. And once you see them falling off or see them now, some people I know they talking to them. I know they having conversations and it just still didn't go well. And then you got to end up benching people or taking away reps. That's when it's like, okay, all right, what happened here? Mm-hmm. What happened? Yeah. Now I did see a question about was Frankie playing hurt? Yeah, Frankie had an injury. Yes, he did. He did. I mean, season over now, I can tell it. And so he was. And so that would be, yes, a part of it.
Yeah.
But it was still, even from the top of the season, it wasn't a continuation of what started in year one.
Right. And I think some of
it wasn't a continuation. And I will always continue to say it was players like Marshawn Lattimore he was not put in the best situation to succeed. As soon as you put him back at the press coverage, you get a pick. And then when he does come back, you don't put him back. So it was like experiments worked 1 or 2 times, and then you stopped with the experiment. And then it wasn't an experiment because it was just flat out, just do what works for your players, whatever it is, whatever your program is, whatever your identity is going to be, you get the players that map to that. Don't try to switch them up when they are having success and when they have had success, and don't try to change their identity when they get here. Don't try to shift them up. That's not what's going to work. And so we'll see, but ultimately at the root of it, because at the root of it is always going to be culture. When you talk about energy, I've shared about David Blau and how he is, the competition, the competitiveness, the energy. Listen, you can't have Dan Quinn with all this energy and practice and how he gets hype and all that, and then everybody else, the coordinator, is too cool for school. Like, nah, if your head coach is going to be hyped, then everybody's got to be hyped. You need to be hyped. That's the part of the culture. That's part of the energy. And you still want to be in competition, even in practice, because that's how you get better. And certain things need to be intentional. The tackling piece, which they can't really tackle in practice, but for certain, the takeaway piece are things that should still be happening in practice, and they should be intentional and an emphasis on it, and what you're doing and a part of how you play all the time.
Right, and I think this team, I had to look it up. This team was 54 tackles away from the Indianapolis Colts, who had 700 tackles for the year. Washington Commanders had 646 tackles. I think we emphasize the tackles because the ones that were missed were key tackles. I also want to go. I wouldn't mind going back and doing an investigation on how many of those tackles were missed when the games were out of reach, where players was like, are making business.
When it's a blowout and they not care no more.
They can't game the blowout.
That's a good point.
And people
There's a lot of those though. There's a lot of those.
And people are making business decisions for those tackles, right? So I want to look at that because you're only 54 tackles away from the Indianapolis Colts, right? As I mentioned, the Colts had 700 tackles for the season.
That's a good point,
Washington Commanders had 646. So
it doesn't help.
But it
doesn't help. I'm gonna go against that. Here's why. It doesn't help when one of the people that everybody wants to kick off the team is a person who had over 150 tackles.
Yeah, but as a linebacker, you're supposed to have that many.
but no, not over 150. Come on now. Come on, Glenn. No. That's not on average.
No, he a tackling. No, I'm saying like this is the thing. Like that's one thing. Like no, he a tackling machine. Like I'm not gonna he's a tackling machine.
He's a tackling machine.
So it's just like I mean I'm gonna be real. Like so for me, like tackling is great because sometimes it goes. Tackling is a stat that is depending on. I look at tackles for loss. That's my thing. That's where I look at. Like because tackling could be like a dude got a 5-yard, 10-yard run, and then you got him in the back end. You didn't stop the play initially. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're like doing. So I don't always like Bobby's a middle linebacker. He's a cleanup dude. So I don't get like he's a tackler. So I get that. Like I'm not going to take that. But for my main thing is tackling for loss. But like is Bobby one of the best tacklers on the team? Is the best tackler on the team? Yes,
by far.
Like that's not to be debated.
No debate.
But also like the tackling stat because like I'll be real. There have been like being a fan of this team for like years. There have been safeties that have like led this like have been crazy tackles. Like LaRon Landry used to get crazy tackles, but that wasn't dictated on him being like a game changer because dudes got to him. Put it like that because
Landry was making tackles 10 and 15
there
yards.
You go. That's my point.
Right.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's why I say it's about the scheme. It's the scheme that you want.
So
when you look at the Ravens wanted Ray Lewis because again, the 3-4 defense was for the Ravens. Saragusa's job was to get double team as a no.
But it was like, even when they ran the 4-3, even when they ran to your point, the Ravens ran the 4-3, it was Saragusa and Adams, right? So they had Adams and Ray Lewis even said it, which again is different from this situation. So I guess depending on how you build your situation, like Ray Lewis said it. Like, I need big dudes in front of me so I can get these dudes, so I can get the dudes so the linemen won't touch me, so I can be able to make tackles. Again, tackle for loss. So for me, like, nah, I'm not Bobby making tackles. He makes tackles, but also like the tackles always I only get fixated for tackles for me personally. I'm not speaking for anybody else. For tackles for loss, because to me, that's when you know you're making a bunch of plays. And Bobby's had some tackles for loss this year, so I'm not taking that away. Right. So that's my impact from when you're talking about like tackles. It's like it's not just the tackles; it's also tackles for loss, forced fumbles, all that type of stuff. Well, Bobby got 2 picks. That's like interception. So all that's in play. But again, in this situation, it's gonna be different of how this team is gonna play, how they play with their linebackers. Because in Minnesota, their linebackers are. So this is the truth. Minnesota's linebackers are fast twitch dudes. So they're young dudes were fast. So it's cover. Well, not just cover, but they're fast. Like they're fast. Because not all even you're fast. Not all linebackers fast can cover. Like they're not the best cover. Like I wouldn't say they're great in coverage, but they're fast. So they're speed linebackers. So will you bring that here? Like is that your thought process? Because that's the scheme. The scheme in Minnesota, like all them dudes they got at linebacker are fast linebackers, and they got Glenn. You're right. They got one who can cover. Not all of them. They got one who can cover.
All of them cannot cover. Nope.
Not all of them, but one can cover. One can cover. One. And I think it's. And I'm gonna be real with you. I think that it is like I believe it's the middle. It's the Mike that can cover. So like, it's just gonna be It's just gonna be in my opinion. What are you bringing that's similar to what Minnesota does? Because to everybody's point, the secondary ain't nothing. Minnesota secondary ain't special enough. Other than Harrison Smith, who's retiring, who was like one of the best safeties in football for a long time. He's retired, but he was a shell of himself. Still a good player, but a shell of himself. But I could say Washington's secondary has an opportunity. You can make the argument that Washington with Trey Amos, Mikey is more talented than that secondary. You can make that argument. Real talk. You can make that argument. Linebacking core, in terms of what they bring to the table, is far different from what they did in Minnesota. So are you going to change it up to make it similar to Minnesota? The front four is about as similar as it can get. Like, I'm not going to lie. He's nothing special because they blitzed. They did a lot of blitzing. They did a lot of blitzing. They got Dallas Turner out of in terms of young pass rusher. So they have some players, but Washington can easily bring something similar to that with the NFL draft. Like they can easily copy that. They can easily copy the NFL draft. So there are similarities of what they can do. But go ahead, Ken. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's why I make a point of pay attention to this year's draft. They will be building. This is not a speculation. This is what I'm saying, and this is what I brought to you all from the press conference of building through that draft of what's missing. Now, do you have to spend a whole lot of money from a free agent perspective? No, because even if you take the 3 players that we mentioned or that I've been consistently mentioning of how they took a nosedive in regression, you get them back playing the way they're supposed to be playing. You already improved.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying, and so it's like there's going to be assets to certain people, in everything that they do. But scheme above all else, and then taking whatever that is and getting the players to align to that. Edge rush, safety are huge, and to the point of they only have 4 picks. They had 5 last year, and 4 of those 5 played in every game except for Trey because he got hurt, and then Jalen when he got hurt. But there would be an argument made that they brought impact and they gave sincere hope for the future of what they can be. Of those 5 picks, 4 of them were starters. So that's how we got to keep thinking, keep doing with that, because hey, maybe they do move back. I don't think they will, but maybe they do move back and get more picks. But I think they need 7. Stay at 7. That's what I would do right now. Stay at 7. Yeah. But I mean, you saw what they did with the 5 picks last year, and I mean, we can't. Can anyone say they're honestly, when you really think back on the season, are you really disappointed in the 5 picks?
No, I'm not actually. I go back. I'm not.
You're not disappointed in 5 picks, but I want to go back to something else, back to the defense they run. the defense he runs, if he brings the 6-1 or he brings the 3-3-5 right over to that the Minnesota ran, the Brian Flores run the scheme.
Right back. Hold on.
That means that means somebody like Kinlaw has to play the nose. When you run in a 3-3-5,
you think he can?
I think he can. What I'm saying is you have to when you play in a 3-3, you gotta have a dominant nose. You gotta have a dominant nose. Go back to the biggest 3-3. If you look at it, where Belichick ran a 3-3, they had Vince Wilfork, right?
Yeah, that's the one.
Vince Wilfork was the nose guard in the New England defense when they played a 3-3. Also, you gotta have five. We playing 5 safety, 5 corners. You got to be able to have somebody back there. 3-3 also confuses people offenses because again, it's an odd defense. You don't know where guys are coming from in the 3-3. You can play a lot more games when you play in the 3-3-5 than you can do everything else because you got blitz inside, outside backers, things of that nature. So again, you have to have a. That's the question, Santiago. Can all play nose? Because that's the only guy on this roster right now that I will put at the nose position.
He should be able to.
I think Taj just said, "Are we sure he's going to run that?" No, we're not.
We're not sure. We speculate.
No, because it's a complete speculation because the Commanders got Minnesota next year on the schedule. So no, they're not.
We speculate.
It's all speculation. That it is not. Nobody knows at all. And the easiest to know won't come until training camp and then seeing in the preseason. But we already know that most things in the preseason is just for show anyway. And that's what goes back to some of the things around fundamentals. That's what you're going to see in preseason, fundamentals. That's how we all knew against New England, the fundamentals weren't there. You know they got game planning and scheming, but the fundamentals weren't there. That was the first sign of panic. This is not going to go well. So
yeah, I do want to ask this, like, because I'm looking. Wait, George, maybe you know this, George, because I want to know. George is is Harrison Smith gonna retire?
That's what they've been talking about that for a while. I mean, I want to say he's his 13th or 14th year in the league
because he's a free agent.
I thought he was retiring.
He's a free agent.
Y'all want Jonathan Allen back? I'm just asking a question.
They void. He'll probably. Or do I? Would I? He's not. I mean, he can't. He's on a contract. He's on the contract. You talking about?
He's still on the contract.
Yeah. What I mean,
Harrison Smith. I mean,
I'm not anti.
Our issue in the defense last year is that we were playing a lot of old guys, and even though Harrison Smith's been a very good player for a long time, I'm not sure we.
Well, no. See, this whole guy stop. See, we won't stop there. It ain't that the issue on the defense is not really play the old guys. That's not the issue. That's like a fan issue. The issue on the defense, the issue on the defense was like Joe Whitt was some trash, and we didn't have the like. That's the issue on the defense. Like I'm not saying it like no, don't get twisted. Like there are some older dudes that like it depends on who your backup is. I agree with like who your backup is. Like if you're telling me like I need to bench an older dude for Kane Madrano, then you're gonna lose me left with that one.
You're going for that, and
you're gonna lose me left with that one. So like, but you're like I know you're saying George, like the issue that was my issue for the last 3 to 4 games because I feel like I got to see what we got. But like as a whole, to me the issue was Joe Whitt is a trash. I mean, sorry, I'm not gonna say trash. I'm trying to be nicer nowadays. In 2026, I'm trying to be nicer. My issue is like Joe. Like the issue was Joe Whitt and him calling defense. So we'll see. But I just wanted to say that. But go ahead, George. I don't want to cut you off.
I'm glad you on that, Wole, because
Harrison Smith wants to go around again.
That old dude. Can we stop that old dude scenario because it doesn't hold. It doesn't hold. It does. I mean, we all watched, and everybody that we've been talking about, it doesn't hold. Like it just doesn't hold. Well then, because three people that I keep talking about were terrible, and then you could add a 4 if it was Marshawn Lattimore or wasn't good. You know what I mean? Yeah. These not the old people y'all talking about. They're not, and they decline. No, way down deep, and so it doesn't hold. I think it's something that people hold on to because it's easy, but that's not.
Yeah, but hey, George. But go ahead. So I know you want to say something too.
Well, with Harrison Smith, if he wants to go around again, and he likes Daronte Jones that much that he would come. I mean, he's better than a lot of safeties we've had since Sean Taylor.
He may be better. He may be better. Like even at his age now, that's my point, George. Even at his age now, he may be better than like Quan and Will Harris.
Yeah,
like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like.
No,
'Cause he-
that's true. And
That's
I
why
thought
like,
he
you're
was
right.
retiring because he wanted to retire.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I think he's played for the Vikings his whole career. Too.
Oh, his whole career. That's why I think his whole
So
career.
I thought I think a lot of people thought this was going to be his final year. But yeah, here's the other thing: if he does retire and he wants to go into coaching,
Oh man, I love
bring
his
him over
staff.
here.
Come on, his staff.
Get him
You
over
ain't
here.
lying. Yeah, you ain't lying.
He's been playing 14 seasons. He's been playing 14.
As much as I am there, you all never heard me say the problem is these people too old. You never heard me say that. You never heard me say that. But when I came up in here week 4, what did I tell y'all after week 4? I thought I was going to be sick. I did. Now I was eating ice cream and cake that morning, so that wasn't a good idea. But I could see what was happening, and I was like, "Don't do this, Joe. Don't do this, Joe, because if I know you're not putting people in the position to be successful."
Oh yeah, different Cuda.
You know, and so I'm gonna just keep saying that. And to your point, that you all just brought up on your own with an example of somebody who's considered an old guy still might be the best option here currently. I mean, that's just kind of look at, right?
It's just
too many
depends.
variables, but
it depends.
It's too many variables, but it starts with that play call.
Thank you, Santiago. Appreciate you, my guy.
It does. But I think the best.
But Santiago, appreciate you, my guy. Appreciate you, Santiago.
Thank you.
The best option for this team is safeties in the draft, and I'm gonna say that the best option for this team for safeties is in the draft, right?
Yes.
And is in the
For
draft.
safeties, it's in this draft?
Yes, is in his draft.
Yeah, definitely.
For
Safeties
safeties
and edge rushers too.
Yeah,
Both.
it's in his draft, right? But I think when people say old, and I know we want to get off on this one in a minute.
Yeah,
but I think when people say old, I think they look at the play where players are not catching up, where players are not, or because again, it wasn't just the number demographic, right? We've seen old teams. We've seen some old teams win championships, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So we seen some old teams get there, but again, a year makes a difference. What I don't think is team. I think Todd said it. I think it's sometimes coaching. I think people caught up to the scheme that was being ran. People caught. They felt they realized what they could exploit. You could exploit a number 3 receiver on Bobby Wagner because he wasn't going to catch up, right? Right. So again, he should have been there. He should have been there. So you exploit that, right? You continue to do that. What works? You run a wheel route where Bobby has to leave the middle of the field and get 20, 30 yards.
Or Luvu on a freaking wide receiver.
Right. So again, that becomes schemes. Because you scheme what they're not good at or what puts them out of position. And I think, and that's what's exposed. But again, the media itself talked about this team being old. And I think
well, you know, I got my age.
Yeah.
The reason why is and I've corrected people like I do on here and just say
got into it.
From a performance perspective, because here's the thing too with Von Miller. Von Miller gonna tell you how old he is, okay? He get it, all right. But in what they used him for, what they were leveraging him for, he started using more minutes than he was actually originally even being here for injury. But as the season went on, which typically happens if there's no injuries, people start to play better. And you started to see Von make plays. Remember, we talked about that one play, Wole, right? But I think Frankie ended up getting the penalty.
Frankie messed him up, man. Messed up the church's money, man.
You see them make that's what you got to pay attention to. Now, I'm going to also go back to this point. Once DQ took over play calling, you did not see Bobby exposed as much in that way. When it would happen, because I distinctly remember when it happened in the Broncos game, they switched it up. That is how you protect your players. That is how you protect the scheme. On Joe Witt watch, it absolutely happened. Yeah. I saw it getting ready to happen against the Falcons. I was like, oh my God, he's not about to do this to Bobby. He's not about to do this. Oh my God. And he did. Yeah. I should not know sitting up in the press box what's about to go down. Yeah. I really shouldn't.
Yeah, I just feel like it doesn't. Again, all is like it don't matter. Like all I want is for him, this individual I want Jones to have full autonomy to do what he wants to do. That's what I care about.
I think he will because I mean Joe Witt did. I mean, let's keep it a buck. Remember, that's why I asked the question. Did you want?
Well, this is what I'm saying. The only reason I say this different, Candy. No, not in that way because you're right. He did, but the only way I'm saying it full autonomy and I'm not against like I'm not anti Dan Quinn or anything like that. But I'm just saying that Joe Witt came from a tree with him. Like that's his tree. This dude is solely. It's a whole different defense under. This should be a whole different defense.
Well, I
compared to
will
what he's
say that
using.
Joe Witt often referred back to his days in Green Bay.
Okay. But he's been under. But he's worked with him before, though. I'm guessing my point is he's worked with him before. So this is this is a foreign dude to him. You know what I mean? Like so, like like anything in life, when you comfortable with one person, but now it's foreign, so you gotta find like even though he's your boss, like you gotta like Dan's the boss. It's you're still trying to find a way of how to have that connection, that chemistry. So like that's my only thing. Is like if he has. And I think knowing who Dan is, he did it with Cliff. He gives people full autonomy. Like I know he does.
Pro tip. Even when they do these interviews, they talk through scheme. They talk through use. They talk through who would stay, who would go. Who would
of course, of course.
So I would feel confident.
Mm-hmm.
They already know what they need and who they want and how.
I'm sure of that. But like,
that's already been.
Yeah, I'm just saying when you're in the fire, like I know that, but like when you're in the fire, fire is different. Like fire is different. Like we can talk and be good, but when the game hit and the fire hit, and you may not like something, like how do you go about talking about that? You know
see, but that goes back to what I said back in October, and that was one of the things with Dan Quinn. At this point, what is too much autonomy? Because that's the thing. What it becomes a what did you learn? Because exactly right, Wole. We're not saying that Coach Blau and Coach Jones are going to come in here and just change the world. Yeah. We're not saying that. We don't know. But if there is something wrong, if something isn't going right, who's the person that says, whoa, we need to do this, or we need to do this, or even if you're seeing something. I know when people see, like on the Metro, if you see something, say something. That's what I'm going to be looking for from a day. I know he's going to bring the energy. I get that the culture is there. I know players want to run through a brick wall for him, all that good stuff. But if something is going haywire, who's going to stop it? Or if you even saw it immediately. Again, I'm going to go back to the point, and there were so many different points of when players and certain things were getting exposed on DQ's watch. You did not see it happen as much on DQ. You didn't. Now they were just getting beat fair and square. They were just getting beat, but and then.
But that's where I blame DQ at, because here this is, and when you're a head coach, you see things happen. Those conversations behind closed doors need to take place, right? Those conversations behind. I'm not saying you're gonna blow your boy out in the meeting or in a press conference, but behind closed doors, you do all the meetings you have throughout the week. All the discussions, the game plan is built, because like every defensive game plan, every defensive scheme goes across Dan Quinn's desk, right? Before it go throughout the week. It should anyway. Because he's the head dude. The buck stops here. So he should have made those conversations, had those conversations with Joe Witt, and had a conversation. This is the things that need to change. These things we need to fix. This is the thing that we're looking to do. Now here it is. Goes back to the Cliff Kingsbury conversation we had a couple of weeks ago. Was Dan Quinn making those suggestions and Joe Witt just wasn't doing them, right? And so when Dan had to take over, it was like, okay, I've asked you to do X, Y, Z. You didn't do X, Y, Z. So now let me go ahead and just take this back. With Daron, with Jones, this is what I need to see. I need to see the staff that he brings in, right? I want to see the staff that he brings in to help him foster this change in the defensive culture, because he can't do it by himself. Yeah. He has to have a staff. His staff to come in and change it. So I'm interested to see in the next couple of weeks, a couple of days, what staff he brings in, connection he has to make this defensive change. And that what makes that's the difference you'll see, right? If he keeps the deep part of the defensive staff, maybe a Daryl Tap, right? Yeah. Things of that nature. So we want to see I want to see how that changes in there. And again, back to the autonomy, and allow himself to control things with the help of Dan Quinn, of course, because he's getting adjusted. We mentioned earlier he hasn't called plays in the NFL, so Dan Quinn's going to help him adjust some things, and have those conversations going to take place, and they're going to be had so that he can adjust. But the staff is going to make a big difference. Player development, as we always talk about, is going to be a big difference. Some of these players are not bad players; they just need better development.
I do want to read this what Todd's put out here, man. I think it's a good point, man. On the positive side, I'm looking forward to seeing these two young, gifted minds compete. In training camp should bring much needed excitement and energy. DQ monitoring both units.
You can't have, like I said earlier, and that's exactly the point I made earlier. You can't have DQ hype and your coordinator's too cool for school.
Yeah,
Right.
true.
You know, the energy gotta be there. When somebody makes a kick A play or they doing all this, you
Kick A
gotta
play.
kick A play.
Kick A play. I see you.
Mama Wall is still on, I think.
I know she could be.
You gotta be hype. You gotta be hype. You gotta get in the mix.
Right.
And
Oh,
that's
my
what people
goodness.
like. You know,
I
you
know.
gotta be too cool for school around here. You know, you want to where somebody it's you want to beat them, you want to be energized. Everybody needs to be hype and enjoy. And that was another thing that we didn't see from year 1 to year 2. Year 1, they looked like they were having so much fun.
Mhm.
I mean, winning is fun, but even at the
Winning's fun, too.
beginning
winning's
of the
fun.
season, right? And I think I saw a comment that said week 2 told us everything we need to know. That's the truth right there.
Mhm.
Week 2, 5 injuries in one night, in an opposing team that knew
I
everything that
keep
they were
saying
doing.
week 2, man. That Patriots game
Okay.
preseason let told me everything I need to know.
Right. Well,
Y'all tripping, man.
I don't know.
Y'all tripping.
That's what it is. But remember,
Y'all
that was
tripping.
the thing of, well, the starters wasn't playing. Okay.
That sounds
All
good.
right. This is gonna look a little different with them. Guess we'll see soon. And it did. And that's the unfortunate thing. It didn't. In week 2, the already having the game plan, meaning the other team already knowing the game plan, knowing the scheme. That is what I'm looking forward to. These will be 2 new coordinators. People will not know what to expect.
Yeah,
And if
that's
they're
true.
getting the most out of their players and they're getting that excitement, they should be excited. Nervous, I'm sure, but excited because they want to go out there and win and have fun. Winning is fun. And you wanted to see these players have more fun too and get back into that. But it's hard to have fun when you know that the other people know what you're doing. That is kind of hard.
That is kind of hard.
Appreciate you, Taj. Yeah, I do want to say
Taj.
this too. Yeah, appreciate it. But the thing about it is, like, I think somebody in the chat said this, and I agree. Well, we got to give Dan credit though too, because you know this is still Dan's staff, and he's helped cultivate and hire these individuals. I will say this, man, like it's ballsy. I won't even hold you. Like dude, we ain't call a single game, like call a defense or offense, and you're basically, I don't care. Like, I'm gonna be real with you. You're putting your fate in their hands. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, because you can't have a season like you had. I know they're young, and people want to say like, well, they got time. Yeah, they're young, but they got time. You don't. They got time. That type of season that you had, you can't have another 5-12 season. Everybody's gonna be, and the folks gonna be like, well, you know, you got 2 young coordinators. That's why they don't. The NFL don't work that way, and they don't work that way. They're looking at, we got Jaden Daniels as a quarterback. We can't be wasting these years on a contract, even until his contract gets like super high. So, this is why I'm giving him his flowers. Like, dude,
it's bold.
It's bold, bro. It's bold.
Don't you think AP's got a little say in this?
No.
Wait, it's a total left turn from this guy. A complete left turn from this guy.
Adam Peters. He said, yeah, Adam Peters.
Adam Peters said he's there to support and talk to him, but I think, I mean, here's the reality. We talked about this on Friday. Just how bad was that Joe Witt Jr.? It was bad.
Mm-hmm.
It was bad. And let's also be honest. If you don't have anybody else that's available and that you honestly think is a fit, you don't want to make the decision just because you know the guy. Let's just be honest about that too. You don't want to make the decision just because he's your friend and you think he's okay. You have to really do what you think is best. I think that's the key here. And Dan has to, I mean, it looks like he's learned, right? No, it looks like he has learned.
Good point, Mark.
Look, I made this decision. I gave somebody an opportunity who's worked with me. It didn't work.
Yeah.
It like, now that hire failed. I wouldn't say so much that Cliffs did, even though they both, you know.
I mean, Cliffs failed last year, but not in general. Like, he had a great, successful first year.
So I think, you know, people got to learn, and they got to learn quickly. And it's one thing, because sometimes, let's be honest. Is it that it's your friend, or it was the best person for the job?
There you go. That's the most important. That's the thing.
It's two different things. And sometimes the person who is your friend is not the best person for the job. Might be the worst person for the job, honestly, even though they're fantastic.
He wasn't the first option though. That's the problem with that his hire. And before we because I want to crap on Joe Witt forever because everybody knows like it is what it is with Joe Witt. With me and Joe Witt, but like
all you got to do is look and see if he's gotten any more interviews.
That's that too. That lets you know who he is.
Use your clues, and it tells you everything you need to know about what that hire was if he's not getting other opportunities currently.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Al Harris was his first option.
Yeah, but Dallas shut that down.
Dallas shut it down. Like Joe Witt was like, all right, we're just gonna promote you and make you the DC. So he wasn't even the first option. But like in this situation, the reason why I think that, like, if I'm Adam Peters, I'm not really worried about like because my it looks bad on me. I'm not worried about getting a young dude. Like it all is hand in hand. So you say Adam Peters, nah, because Adam Peters, if he makes this, if it's on him and it's leaked that it's on him, and it go left, it's on him. Like it ain't gonna be on Dan, believe me. Like this is better. It better be on Dan. Like if I'm Dan, it better be on me because like if I'm at P, like I let you do what you wanted. I ain't gonna get blamed for it.
But as a head coach, as a head coach, if I'm gonna live and die, and I know this is the third year of my contract,
it's my staff.
It's gonna. I'm gonna live and die on my own. Year 3 of my staff.
That's my point.
I'm gonna live and die on my own stuff. But but see, we can't be mad at the youngness because everybody was on this podcast in the chat talking about. Hey, when McVay was young, when he took over, a lot of other young guys have taken over spots. Ben Johnson was young.
Y'all
so
doing this.
I don't want.
But I'm with you, Glenn. I'm with you. I'm gonna jump in. Go ahead.
But I think the difference here is this for some people, right, who don't know, these guys don't have the name that the other guys had, right?
Yes.
You said it's the name. It's the name that you hear on Sunday. Tony Romo and Joe Buck. These guys are talking about these guys. Yeah. No one was talking about in Minnesota. Was talking about Daronte Jones all year long, right?
They weren't.
Nobody in Washington was talking about David Blah on a regular basis. Being the next. So that's where people's hesitation and people.
I said except for me.
Except for Candy, right? But this is where people have their hesitation at is because they don't know. The unknown scares people, right? Yeah. The unknown makes you uncomfortable, but also the unknown makes you excited, right? The unknown makes you. I got to go back to a wrestling reference. Nobody knew Dave Bautista or Randy Orton when they joined Legacy, when they joined Evolution, right? When they joined Evolution. But when you're around people who've been in the business long enough, it makes you better. So what Joe Witt is going to do, he's not Joe Witt. I mean, what Dan Quinn is trying to do is try to make these guys better for the future. And with molding them and shaping them, again, I think it's a great opportunity. The unknown, it brings excitement. People want to talk about things for the rest of the season or the off season with the Washington Commanders, and we're here for it, right? We're here for all the conversations. We're here for all the interesting talks. We're here for everything that happens. Blah being 30, Jones being 47. I mean, I got a view. Why can't my man Byron Leftwich get it? That's a whole different conversation.
That's a whole different conversation. No, didn't get that one.
But I thought about that for Washington, but we didn't bring it up. But that's a whole different conversation again. But not gonna bring that up tonight. But I'm happy Washington, happy for Jones.
So, I'm happy for him. I think it was a good move. I wasn't upset by it. It didn't make me turn my nose up. I was just like, all right, that's what's up. Because they need to also have somebody here that understands this fan base.
Oh, that's true.
Understands this area. Yeah. Understands how important this is. Mm-hmm. How much this means, especially in the wake of a new stadium back in DC approaching. And just what it means to be a consistent contender. We didn't say we got to win the Super Bowl every year. I mean, I don't think anybody's saying that, but you want to be competitive. And it was too much. This was literally a 180 from 12-5 to 5-12. If this is the definition of a 180. And so you can't do. I mean, they said it. This cannot happen again. All right. Well, this is the start of this cannot happen again. And I really love that you all are saying, give DQ his flowers, because as soon as he would have brought somebody in here, he bring somebody in, as soon as he would have brought somebody that was considered old, whatever, there'd have been a whole bunch of complaints. Give an opportunity to somebody who's been in the trenches, who's learned from the past, right? Coupled with someone who is fresh still, but was still highly sought after. And let's be clear, Daronte was as well. He was highly sought after. He did a phenomenal job, to my understanding. All of his interviews, he's very bright. He's on point. He's got the energy. Why wouldn't he? Based on who he's learned from. I
Yeah.
think it's a fantastic opportunity for this team. Now, because East West Shrine is this week, Senior Bowl, I guess, all this stuff. I had told Wole, I said, "Dag, Wole." It was one of the reasons, because like I said, I kept saying we'll be back together soon. I meant to share the dates of all the All-Star games, because remember, that was part of the Use Your Clues of the All-Star games and having somebody on board with these All-Star games, because evaluation has they've already gone through current team evaluation. That's done. So now it's where the hole, filling the holes with the who, not the where of the hole. It's the who. So these upcoming months leading up to the draft are very important, right? All-Star games, combine, pro days. There's a lot of information out there, hint, hint, wink, wink, out there right now about who the Commanders have met with at the East-West Shrine Bowl. I'm sure there will be more information out there as the week goes on with the Senior Bowl as well. And I also, and here's what I want everybody to pay attention to. Don't pay attention to so much of the names, because of the different bowl games, different players play in different bowl games, or some don't play at all for various reasons. Pay attention to the position groups. So yes, quite a few edge rushers. Yes, quite a few safeties. Yes, quite a few corners. And oh, by the way, running backs as well. So, all right. Okay, use your clues. I'm helping. I'm throwing out darts all the time. Like, here you guys go. Here y'all go. And so, just be paying attention to those things, because that information is out there. Wole, I've been sending Wole a lot of stuff. I'm about to. I see long snapper and kicker. I'm gonna go find them and kicker myself.
Long snapper and kicker. We better not be looking for no long snapper.
Yeah.
You better get that.
Definitely need to be looking for kicker.
You better be looking. You better be looking at. You better be looking at the undrafted free agents. You better still waste my time on those freaking draft picks on the freaking.
But kicker, I might have to take that one on.
Man, we got my kicker, man. I'm good, man. I got my guy. I got my guy, man. I got my guy Moody. I don't know what y'all talking about.
He needs some competition. He needs some competition.
I got my guy Moody, man. I don't need what y'all could get who y'all want to get. Me and Jake, we go back. We champions. Me and Jake are champions. We don't do that other stuff. But we win championships.
Well, listen, I'm about to go and kick, if that's the case. But no, Jake was all right. He was all right. But I think that. Man. Yes, these are the things to just be paying attention to, because this stuff starts.
Man, everybody know I'm about Jeremiah Love. Y'all already know about that Jeremiah Love.
9 or 10 though, not 7.
He could be a 7. Why you keep saying Jeremiah? Why you acting like Jeremiah? Like you acted like was B John? What's B John? What's B John's rapping? Where was he at?
Exactly.
Like 11.
No, but way before 11. Way before 11.
B John was in the top 10.
Yeah, George, you doing Jeremiah's Love really dirty.
I'm sorry. With Bain or Downs is going to be there at 7.
You got to go.
If I hear Washington's taking Jeremiah Love, it needs to be after they move back.
No, the problem is with like this is the thing. Randy Moss. Hey George, I have a question. George, this is a real talk. It's a real talk question. No, let me ask George this question. I'm gonna ask you this question, George. Real talk, because you be acting like you been real shade to Jeremiah Love, like he ain't super special. No. I'm gonna be real with you. If B John Robinson's at 7, do you pass him up for Caleb Downs?
Yeah, he was 8.
Do you pass? No, I'm asking. Do you pass him up?
Jeremiah
No. Tell me, ask George a question. Yes. Do you pass B John Robinson down for Caleb Downs?
We need a safety more.
No. That's not what I asked. This is not what I asked you. Would you pass down? Would you pass over a guaranteed generational talent? Let me make it. I'll even do another generational talent. I use him all the time for example. I know a lot of teams passed on him because he was he was doing stuff at school. You had Randy Moss at 7.
Nah, it's not fair. No. You were better off with Bijan at 7 because that's
Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson at 7.
Okay. Oh God. I guess not, but I'm serious.
Because everybody looks at position.
Wait a minute. You're the one who said to me we need a Jaden Daniels on the defense, right?
I agree.
And you said Caleb Downs.
You know what? You're right, but there's exceptions to rules all the time. The Cincinnati Bengals didn't need to get Jamar Chase. They need a
I
tackle.
understand that. I
need a
feel like they
tackle.
move back and get Jeremiah Love.
But you can't move back to Jeremiah Love. Once you move back, you're not getting him. I'm letting you know right now. Where's Kansas City? Where are the Chiefs at in the draft? In the draft, they're getting him.
They're like 10 or 11, ain't they?
No, they're bad.
All I know is
they'll probably trade up to get him. That's how vicious he is.
I feel as though at that point they just need the best player available.
Like Saquon Barkley, yeah. What we doing? Like, would you not get Saquon Barkley at that? George, it was Saquon Barkley's in the draft. Would you or Downs? Who would you get?
But I thought Saquon
they're 9,
Barkley
exactly. They're 9. Yes, the Chiefs are
9.
getting him. If we trade back, the Chiefs are definitely getting Love. That is a guarantee they're getting Love.
Okay. I thought Jordan Tyson was a guarantee for them. That's me.
Jordan's, they got receivers. They're good. They got receivers.
The Chiefs got receivers?
Who is there? They got freaking Rice, who's like that, and they got
Rasheed Rice is coming off an injury.
And Holiday,
they got
no. Rice is like that. Rice
they got Xavier Worthy.
Thank you. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Look. Who's their running back?
Oh no, they got nothing at running back. That's true.
What's more bare, running back or wide receiver for them?
Right now,
they're getting, like I said, they're getting Jeremiah Love. If you trade down, they're getting Love.
Hold up, right now, running back because you got Eric Bieniemy coming back in the OC.
I was just about to say Eric EB is back there. They definitely getting Love, and I don't even. I don't think. If he's there at 7, you know what I mean.
Man, if he's there at 7, you better think about it. Y'all back. Look, man, I'm telling you, I want a defensive player like the most. Like, look, man. Them defensive players ain't like the one. If the one ain't there,
let me be clear to
y'all. They ain't gonna be better Love.
Defensive players. So this is how I know because I have the combine schedule. So we already know. Like from that perspective, we always go by how many people are going to be interviewing at that time. This is a very deep draft.
That's we doing.
Defensive linemen and defensive backs. It's a deep draft for DBs.
For DBs
and D linemen.
Yeah, for edge rushers too.
That's true.
Yep. It's deep. It's deep.
No, Kenny, I'm gonna stop you. You gonna go. You gonna go, Kenny. I'm just gonna say this real quick. Timothy, don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. All right, go ahead, Candy. Go ahead.
All I'm saying is they have it's a very deep draft for D linemen and defensive backs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at I was looking at the draft order. Did anybody else have any draft order questions? Kansas City Chiefs at 9. Like Glenn was saying, EB they would absolutely get a running back.
Oh man, Love is like
too clear. EB was the running backs coach just with the Bear. He's going to get the best running back or the best player in the draft.
Man, Love is top 5 best player in this draft because he's a running back. It's like to George's point, maybe he gets to like maybe 10. Maybe he gets to like 10 if that. But he's top 5, just like Bijan was like arguably like one of the best. Certain running backs are the best in their class, like the best player in their class. It's just the position dictates where they go and slide at. Like safety for real. Caleb Downs is like that. So to George's point, he is like that. But he's a safety. Safeties don't go in the top 5 for real. When's the last safety that was in the top 10 for real? Think about that.
Oh, it was not Eric Berry.
Eric Berry, maybe Eric Berry. It may have been Eric Berry. We played for Tennessee. We played Tennessee, right? In college, we played Tennessee college, right? It may be Eric Berry. He went to the Chiefs, right? He got drafted by the Chiefs that year.
I don't care that safeties don't go in the top 10. Caleb Downs is a top 10 player in this draft.
But I'm just saying, like to your argument about like I'm telling you, like about how you look at Love, it's the same way people think about safety. Safeties don't typically go in the top 10. I don't even think the safeties go in the top 10 at all. To be honest with you, they don't go in the top 10.
Yeah, and this one's the exception on that. But
is he really?
I'm also
who didn't go to the top 10?
You convinced me on Bain, so I'd be happy with Bain at 7.
You know who didn't go in the top 10?
I'm a Marvell Reese, so I'd be happy with that at 7 too.
You know who won in the best safeties and whoever Sean Taylor went in the top 10. I'll get it. He's special.
Yeah, he went in the top 10.
I'm in this draft.
But Eric, everybody knew Eric Reed was can't miss, and he ain't going in the top 10 at all. Just letting you know.
Yeah.
Just letting you know.
That doesn't mean that also means that a lot of GMs were stupid and passed on him.
I'm just saying safety. That's just because they go off the safety. They go off that grade system. That's all I'm saying. Just saying. Left tackles,
I
quarterbacks, wide
would
receivers.
I would take the best player available, but that's
I would too. That's where I'm at, Ken. I ain't gonna lie to you, Ken. That's where I'm best player available.
I mean, you don't. I mean,
I ain't gonna hold you. That's where I'm at right now.
Whoever, because you can't really lose if that makes sense, right? At 7, you probably should stay. You can't really lose. Now, I saw somebody make a comment in the chat that if Anthony Lynn gets a head coach job, they get some picks, and I can't remember that detail.
Yeah, third round pick. I ain't gonna let me. You want me to tell y'all the truth, y'all? Because y'all want the truth or you want to lie? You want to like give you the PC answer or you want me the real answer?
Well, I hope we don't lose Anthony Lynn.
We're not losing Anthony Lynn, man. We're not losing Anthony Lynn. All right. Let me know right now.
You do get picks. You do get some picks.
We're not look. He ain't being a head coach. I ain't gonna hold y'all. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. He ain't happening. I ain't gonna. I can be bluntly honest. Yeah, I'm just telling you. He ain't getting a head coach. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I doubt he getting a head coach job. Hey, it ain't fair to him. I mean, I say this and I mean this and being 110% real. It ain't fair to him. But he ain't getting a head coach job. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all.
Just get the best player available. I mean, you can't go wrong. This year, you get the best. Whoever's left at 7, best player available.
You know what?
I think you can.
This is that Chase Young stuff. Like let me respect this. Like the Chase. Look, man, this is y'all be doing. He was rookie of the year. This is my guy. He's rookie of the year, bro.
He was rookie of the year.
He had 8.5 sacks last year. He's pretty good last year.
Yeah, 10.5 sacks. No, but I'm saying this is the thing. 10.5 sacks this year. But this is the thing, though.
And he got
rookie of the year played. Did he blew his knee out? Do y'all know how bad that knee injury was?
Blew his knee out.
That was an atrocious knee injury. I don't think y'all really know. Like, I feel like people don't go in circle. Like, yeah, and he was having a down second year. Like, don't worry, second year was having a down second year at the time. But he blew his knee out. Like,
blew it out.
That's not. Yes, that's the main reason why he didn't become this generational talent here in DC. But you see, he's gotten healthier, and what is he doing now in with the Saints? They gave him a big deal for a reason because they saw promise. Just saying.
He's doing well.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Like,
I'm trying to hate on Chase.
Could take the Browns job. I'm telling y'all, man.
I mean, I don't think he should, but he could absolutely because they keep interviewing him. You know, I mean, because everybody keeps declining it. People keep declining the Browns and the Bills.
I'm telling y'all, the Browns. Man, he gonna be back here in DC if he want to be back. If they want to, he'll be back here in DC. If Blouse, he'll be back in DC. He'll be back here. That's all I'm gonna say.
I mean, this is just it's.
And look, I ain't saying it's fair. And look, I'm not. Look what I'm saying. I ain't saying it's fair. I'm telling you, he'll be back in DC.
I think it's a much more to come. This has already been quite the off season for the Commanders.
Hasn't it though?
Already been quite the off season.
It has.
You got to figure, like I said, the All-Star games. Then I know I had to take that deep breath. Then the combine. Later this week, and this is me being very transparent. Later this week, I'm not sure if it's going to be in person or via Zoom. Of course, media will be meeting with
coach, right?
Daronte Jones and DQ. Total transparency. I'm supposed to be. I don't know what the weather is like or what's going on. I'm supposed to be speaking at Hampton on Thursday, and I think might be what the press conference is. So I may or may not be there for that because
you gonna miss it. Okay, you're gonna Hampton.
I know. I don't know. I'm so conflicted, and I knew as soon as I saw it, I said, "Wait, watch this press conference be on Thursday." Now, if it's via Zoom, then I just will figure that out, right? But we'll see if it's in person versus Zoom. I'm a little sad because I need to be there.
TV's getting no rest this off season. You agreed to come here.
This is crazy, and right because Jesse Minter's press conference is Thursday as well. So hopefully,
I heard. Thursday.
I will be on everybody. If it's not,
Bowie TV popping, man. It's popping.
And then we will be at Super Bowl week next week. During the week, we'll be working Super Bowl week, and then I actually have to do NBA All-Star as well. And,
wow, okay.
Yeah, I know this is crazy. I know what's going on.
Your mom said can't be calling for snow.
Mom out here talking. Hold up. Mama Walter is not Thursday. It's moved. It's shifted to Saturday now. So your baby will be okay.
I'll be okay if I go down there. So let me see.
All right, Mama came out there and said it's supposed to be snowing in Hampton. She came out there.
She'll be okay.
Mama wasn't playing.
We got a Vikings fan. We got to pay attention to the Vikings fan comment because this is very good.
It's very important. Yeah, what you say?
Yeah,
And
but
here
see,
I am.
pressure and sacks too. Because I mean, we've been doing a lot of talk. We talk about edge
Yeah.
rusher, but that pressure up front, you got to get that pressure up front. I mean,
I like this, but I do like this.
Yeah.
Daronte learning anything, your defense will be legit in year 2. Pressure sacks all day. Man, I hope it, man. Appreciate that, man.
Appreciate that. Appreciate
All
that.
right, everybody.
Hey, Brown, appreciate you.
From a Vikings fan, thank you for
Yeah.
that. Use your clues, everybody, because they done they done said
We blitz it. We blitz on second down.
but
Yes.
But in year two. So that means keep your negativity in year 1 of this. This is somebody that told you in year 2. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's your clues, and I'm going to remind you all, because that's what I like to do. As soon as everybody starts complaining, you see something you don't like, I'm going to say, you remember that Vikings fan popped on, and they told you year 2. Okay, calm down, everybody. Year 2. So that's a very important point. I'm glad that the Vikings, and I would also like to say, I'm glad that Vikings fan came on here, because I'm gonna tell you, if it was 2 nice fan bases, it was the Green Bay Packers, lovely fan base, and the Minnesota Vikings. When the Commanders, when I worked that game, you all were a lovely group of people, and I hope you're doing well. And with everything going on in Minnesota. In the world.
Oh man, definitely.
I hope you all are doing well and staying safe, because there's a lot going on up there, on top of it being very frigid and cold. And I didn't enjoy that part of it, but the stadium is lovely, and you guys are very good people. I like y'all.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, Glenn, you know what, Glenn? I think it's a good way to close this out. But yeah, like Candy, that was a good point. Yeah, very good point about that.
Yeah.
That should be like talked about. Folks in Minnesota praying for y'all.
Yeah, praying for you.
For real talk.
Yeah. Hey, yo, we appreciate each one of y'all jumping on for this emergency pod. We told y'all all season long that when something breaks with the Washington Commanders, that we'll be on. We thank Candy for from Bowie TV for hopping on as well. Candy, before we let you go, as always, let people know where they can follow you at.
You all make sure you're staying locked in with Bowie TV. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube. If you're in Prince George's County, Maryland, and you have not cut your cable, you can find Bowie TV on Comcast channels 190, 1097. You can find me on X at Seawall SE, Candy Waller or CEO Seawall on everything else. Bowie TV or Bowie TV Sports, everything else. In the words of Coach Prime, I ain't hard to find, so you can Google me. I'm telling you, you will find me, because I'm around, and the Commanders have not stopped. This is what happens when you don't have a good season. You got to work still after the season, and
no vacation for Candy this offseason.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's sleep for the weary.
Last year was so much more fun. I should have had more fun. I was so stressed out last season. It was fun, but I didn't realize how much fun I was having until it was over. And I promised myself I wouldn't do that again. I should have smelt more flowers along the way with that season last year. I was very, very busy, but didn't realize, like, yo, this is dope. Winning is cool. Winning is really cool, and losing is not.
And that's what we try to get back to winning. Once again, make sure you subscribe to all our platforms. That's all Burgundy Gold, everything on Instagram, on Twitter. Make sure you hit us up. If you subscribed here, make sure you hit subscribe, hit the bell notification so you miss any time that we hop on. We can hop on anytime breaking news, anytime breaking news happen, we're gonna hop on. Thanks for all those in the chat. Thanks for the chat for rocking tonight. You are the real MVPs. And for those that gave super chats, we appreciate you as well. You guys have a great night. And as always, we're out. Deuces.